just let you go. Turn around, turn around, turn around again. Laugh at yourself. It's not half as bad as you thought it was. It's not an epic that you live. We can dress it up in red if that's how you want it. But you'd better get out and I will still hold you back from the edge. Don't watch this fool. Don't waste your money on another broken renegade. Do it now, act faster and lie to yourself. Never heavy with the consequence you're running from. Never think about the way it was. We can dress it up in red if that's how you want it. But you'd rather get out and I will still hold you back from the edge. I will wait with you till the end if that's how you want it. I'll be your audience and I will still hold you back from the edge. We can dress it up in red if that's how you want it. But you would never get out and I will still hold you back from the edge. I will wait with you till the end if that's how you want it. I'll be your audience and I will still hold you back from the edge. I will wait with you till the end. I will still hold you back from the edge. I wanna make sound. I wanna change everything. I wanna know it, feel it, take it all. I wanna fix everything. But the hardest part of this is to take who you are and change what you need.
All right, so yeah, I got what up? I got this. Oh yeah, okay. Shit. I guess this camera stand is doing all right. Had to kind of jerry rig it a little bit just to get it the right way, but whatever. So what up? Here I am. Can't sleep. Feeling like shit again, like usual. My life story. Oh, I just sat down and opened up my Facebook. I opened up my Facebook and automatically right off the back, just some shit. And I'm like, what? So I wasn't aware of like any type of mergers or whatever. So apparently there was something going on. So I'm going to look into it right now. It says DC Comics disaster continues as offices close down. So this is from cosmicbook.com, cosmicbook.news, I should say. So if anybody wants to, like, I follow them on So they do Cosmic Book News website talking about things related to comics and whatnot. So let me see what's going on here. This photograph looks pretty crazy. That looks like the Kent house being destroyed. Jesus. Alright, let me look into this here. It says the DC Comics disaster continues, as now it is revealed its swanky offices in Burbank are closing down. Originally out of New York, DC Comics was brought to Burbank, California around 10 years ago to align the company closer to its Hollywood counterpart, which was because of the launch of Zack Snyder's DCEU. That was the reason for the big launch of the new 52 in the comic books at the time. Interesting. So is that, I see, that's how much attention I pay to certain things coming out. So when the move to Burbank happened, DC Comics was given an extravagant, massive 3-floor spread of prime office space, which was actually something more like a big museum and tribute to DC Comics and its characters, as the offices were decked out with all sorts of things, including comics and movie memorabilia and more. So the big plan was to have a massively successful DC movie universe led by Zack Snyder, coupled with a massively successful new DC Comics universe. It's even known that Snyder's movie stuff directly influenced the comics, as confirmed by the legendary George Perez. So we know the plan was to have it all sync up. DC even dumped a lot of money into its comics at the time, as they even helped comic shops run advertisements on TV and in movie theaters. Something unheard of. Interesting. Excuse me. So we got Snyder's DC movies and Hollywood killed the DC Comics. Oh, really? So what happened? It all bombed as Zack Snyder's Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and Justice League all failed to meet up to expectations and underperformed. And now, just prior to the merger of WB and Discovery, WB is closing down the DC Comics office and moving them. But actually gets worse. Okay, so first off, I'm just gonna throw a little something in there. Man of Steel, I thought was really good. I really liked the way that was like to me, a decent starting point. I thought it was pretty strong. I thought it was a decent, strong starting point. But see, I believe Batman v Soup and the way Justice League went was not his doing. Like, right here, they're making it, they're making it seem like it's Zach's fault. I personally, this is just me, put the blame on WB. Some might agree because they understand and they know some of the ends of how WB try to manage some shit. And I think they managed poorly when it came to the films. Don't get me wrong, the saddest part was the passing of one of Zach's daughter. That sucks. I mean, that's something you can't. But it's like, to me, I feel like they disgustingly took advantage of that situation, and like, it was like one of those, like, hey, Zach wasn't really playing ball with them as WB. And once he was, like, out of this picture with the unfortunate passing, that's when they, like, hey, now we get to do what the fuck we want. And it's like, really? Really? That's what it felt like. It felt like, hey, we get to do what we want. Let's cut this. Let's cut that. Let's change this. Let's change that. Let's bring in this guy so he can do it for us. And that's, I think, the main reason. Because, for example, when it comes to just Justice League alone, like that movie, the theatrical one that came out, for some of the parts I saw what he was trying to do, and then you could clearly tell what they were trying to do, and it was just poor. It was poor. Fortunately, it was fucking piss poor. Like once the shit dropped with the whole Snyder, they released the Snyder cut on the WB's. What was it? What was it on HBO Max? Right, HBO Max. Like, I think that came out so good. Like, that to me is a successful Justice League thing. Like, I thought that went the more proper route, a little more respect to the characters and the story they were trying to tell, or he was trying to tell, and stuff like that. So I mostly blame WB because, like I said, they're making it seem like it's Zack's fault, and I'm like, nah. I think they shot themselves in the damn foot, and that was it. You know. Let me go ahead and see here. So let's read on. Specifics aren't really known, but it sounds like the DC Comics office are closing down for good, as instead of downsizing to a smaller offices or a building. Okay. It sounds as if the DC Comic offices are no longer in a WB building, as they are now said to be going to hot desk, quote, model in a new building via the Bleeding Cool. So, okay, let's see. So DC Comics no longer has an office? Let's see. So a hot desk office model is rented and or shared office, which means no one actually has an office or a desk. It's just that whoever happens to be in the office can use whatever office space is presently available. So that means no one is going to personalize the office space, as you never know what office space you might be working at from day to day. And that also means you are never going to leave anything at your desk, and that you have to take everything with you. It could actually be possible that DC Comics is now renting a shared office space at a different building from another company, which would of course mean that DC Comics no longer has an office. So let's see. DC Comics downfall isn't surprising. Oh, really? If you have been reading my reports all these years, the news about the downfall of DC Comics, which also includes Marvel Comics and the corporate comic book industry, isn't surprising, as a former DC and Green Lantern artist, Ethan Van Sciver, has been dishing out the inside scoop all along, and he has been right about it too, all along. Ethan has a great video on his YouTube channel about the demise of the DC comic offices, as he joined by former DC Comics veterans such as Graham Nolan and Shane Davis, Gabe Eltabe, Art Thibert. I'm ruining these names. I'm sorry. Thibert, Billy Tucci, and Kelsey Shannon. They all bring up a great point that if DC Comics is such a success, WB wouldn't have evicted them. As the report from Bleeding Cool says, employees were finally allowed to show up at the offices to retrieve personal articles, which were closed during the pandemic. but they were notified the offices are closing and that WB is going to be using the space for something else. Oh, so at that point you're looking at a situation where so far we're on the understanding that they're kicking DC out of that office space of that building. And but it seems like WB is still keeping it for possibly something else. And I mean, if I was a betting man, I don't think they're keeping that building. They might not be keeping that building. But at the same time, they might take the building and, um, I mean, they might set it up for filming in that building. I mean, if the building is what, last I remember seeing photographs, if it's the building I'm thinking about, um, it does have a lot of space. You could set that up for possible filming of other things that you want to do indoors, so they could repurpose the building for that. You know, that's if they are actually keeping it. Let's see, DC Comics mergers rumor. Okay, in a separate article, Bleeding Cool also adds they have heard some sort of DC Comics merger is on the horizon, and they wonder if it could be DC Comics merging with HBO. DC Comics and the CW getting paired to be sold off. DC Comics finally aligning with the WB's Consumer Products division. DC Comics merging with the DC Film division, or even DC Comics getting sold off to Disney and merging with Marvel, which is something previously rumored. Van Sciver's DC crew are also guessing that DC Comics could be licensed to another company. That WB slash Discovery would retain the rights to the IPs, but another company would buy a license to develop the comics, which is something Disney almost did with Marvel Comics, according to Art Tyber. A possible merger of DC with Marvel and shit. I mean, knowing DC, they would fucking probably jump on it. I think they would. I think they would jump on it. I think if they had the opportunity to do so, I think Disney would jump at the bits of trying to get some DC Comics. And then at that point, you could fucking try to mix shit up later on. Like, they could probably, like that one older comic book, I forgot what year it came out, but they had like this, it was, I think it was partially fan driven too, where they had a comic book where they had DC and Marvel characters playing off each other, and I think there was like a voting thing, if I'm not mistaken, where you get to vote who would win a fight between this character and this character, and I I think based on the percentages, then they would write out the book as like that character beat that character due to the percentage of, you know, which one won in the votes, I guess. And then there was that, what was that? Oh, I think it was like amalgamation book of like melding characters together. Like I remember one that looked, it was called Dark Claw or something like that. It was like Batman and Wolverine melded together to be a character, and I was like, what the fuck? So that could be open possibilities right there if DC were to acquire something like these, or I should say Disney acquiring DC. Shit, man, I don't know. And that's the thing. Like, I'm gonna be straightforward with you. So as live action goes, like, I'm not saying the TV shows are bad, but I'm not wild about jumping up and getting a streaming service or whatever to try and and watch the TV. And then I'm not jumping for joy to go see these movies. Uh, I mean, I saw them, but was I like on the first day of release? No. You know, it's like, um, it's just one of those things. Their animation division, though, they're kicking ass. Like the animated films that they've had so far that I've seen, I think have done better than all this live action shit. Like that's just me though. That's my feelings on it. I actually just bought the Injustice one. I'm gonna check that one. I gotta check that one out. See how that went. Cause I'm aware of the Injustice video game. Cause I had the very first iteration that came out, and that was a pretty interesting story. So I'm wondering what they changed. I'm sure they changed something in the animated film. Let's see. It says Hollywood doesn't care about the comics. Well, if they were smart, they would. Let's see. Also worth a mention is that the news about the closing of the DC Comics offices follows it learned that only the Batman titles are selling for DC Comics, as comics such as the Gay Superman, Justice League, Wonder Woman, The Flash, and Aquaman are nowhere to be found in the top 50 of comics. Oh, wow. So, wait a minute. So, I was unaware. So, apparently there was a gay Superman? Like, I guess that was it not selling well? Like, maybe they fucked up the story or whatever? Because that's one of those things, like, I'm all for, inclusivity and all that in all sorts of mediums. But if you don't tell the story right and you don't give it a little respect and organic respect of laying out a story, that would have the respect I think it deserves to organically come into like, oh, he's gay, like then your stories are shit. Like you're just gonna be throwing out a gay Superman and that's that, and that you expect people to buy your shit. No, there's gonna be people that are gay, and then there are gonna be straight individuals that are both are probably gonna look at it like if the story is not good, if it's not handled the right way, then you're not gonna sell it. I'm sorry. I mean, that's just how it is, and then that goes for any type of comic book. I mean, some people just think they're going to throw out something of a particular way or from a particular angle, I guess if you could say. Like, like if they threw out a comic book where this individual over here was trans, that they think they're just going to sell just because the character's trans. It's like, no. Anybody from the trans community will sit down and be like, okay, I'm excited for the fact that there is this character, but how are they going to treat it? And how is the story going to play out? So if that's not respected in how you're going to tell your story and handle this character, then one of the first individuals will come around from the trans community and call you out like, this is some bullshit. You're giving me trash. Why are you giving me this trash? You're expecting me to just want to buy your product just because you made this character trans or whatever? Like, that's that's not your selling. That's not the selling point. It's the story and the respect of the character and how you're going to tell the story with a nice organic flow that just happens to be involved with either gay or transsexual or whatever like that, That's why you're not going to sell. You're just not going to sell your shit the right way. I mean, I'm sorry, but some of these companies, I don't know, they literally pull shit. Like, they dig deep into their colon, get some feces, throw it against the wall, and they just automatically think it's going to stick. And it's like, no, I'm sorry, that's not going to fucking work. And so to think that all these titles here, to think about Wonder Woman, The Flash, and Aquaman, and Justice League are not even in the top 50s, you're really fucking up. You're really fucking up. That means you're you're mismanaging everything to such a horrible extent. Like, that's pretty bad. I mean, I'm glad they're still selling something. Like the Batman apparently is still, like, Batman as a thing still carries on. That's cool, but it's just there's such a lack of respect. Because one of my feelings on it, and I'm not saying this is what it is, but this is what my feeling is. They're just so goddamn concerned with this fucking almighty dollar, right? That and they think their shit don't stink. So they think they're just gonna make money. Oh, we're gonna put that product out there, and they're gonna buy it. And yeah, you know, no. Like, they don't understand. Like, you know, you can't just throw anything out there all willy nilly and think you're gonna be all right, man. You're just not. So now, that's one of the things I always tell someone. It's like, the way you communicate directly in the most potent way to a company of any kind that involves a product that us as regular people would want to buy and consume, whether it's you know, movies, comic books, etc., is with our money. Our money talks. So if you do not buy product, they get to learn the hard way that y'all fucking up. It's like, if these peeps over here ain't buying your shit, there's a reason. Y'all fucking up. You know what I'm saying? And that's where, like, in this case, I mean, those movies, like what we were talking about earlier, I think they still made a decent amount of cash. But then again, I don't know what they spent on advertisement and stuff like that. So I don't know if, like, how close to breaking even did they go? Did they actually make a profit? And if so, how much of a profit? You know, because that's another thing. Like, these motherfuckers, even if you do make a profit, they're stingy as fuck. They're like, no, we should have made X amount of profit. Like, they're always trying to think they need to make bullshit profit. But that's because most of these motherfuckers' pockets are lined with too much fucking cash to begin with. Let's be fucking honest. Anyways, fucking stupid decision making. Let me read on. We can also add Hollywood doesn't care at all about the comics, as it is known James Gunn told John Cena not to read the comics about Peacemaker. Plus, consider that Gunn did the Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. So it's obvious Hollywood cares little for the comics and will continue to do its own thing that it thinks is best for the general audience that doesn't read or buy comics in the first place, which proves trying to turn the comics into movies is a huge mistake. Again, why bother when the movie audience don't buy comics? I don't necessarily agree with this here. I do, because let's look at it this way. All right, you're taking an IP from a medium that a lot of people aren't. Yeah, there's a lot of people that are not reading comic books. Yeah. And okay, so let's do it like this. So for James Gunn to tell John Cena not to read the comics of Peacemaker is essentially my feelings of the way James's mind works is that he doesn't want John to picture Peacemaker in a certain way outside of what James is creating this character. So essentially, it won't have, like, John won't have any conflicting interest or conflicting thoughts between what's in the comics and what James is doing. Is that a bad thing? No, because the fact of the matter is, most of the time, I encourage the idea that nothing from comics should be identical in every aspect to what's going to be on a film or a show. Yeah, you can have the costume could be similar and maybe a catchphrase or something like that. But the fact of the matter is, you don't have to fucking mirror the comic book. Like, especially when you hear those individuals that go, oh, well, that wasn't in the comic books. Well, first off, most of the time I heard someone say, hey, that's not in the comic books. They haven't read all the fucking comic books. They only read a certain line of it from maybe a certain writer. They're not understanding the multitude of comic books that are out there and the multitude of stories for each character. For them to actually sit there and say, like, I forgot what was the last time I was kind of bringing. Someone brought it to my attention where they were like, hey, that wasn't like that in the comics. And I was like, well, that means you didn't read these comics over here. Because I'm aware of this comic line over here actually had all the elements you're talking about that we're looking at right here. And that's the thing. It's like most of these individuals like James Gunn is going to look at the comics and then take bits and pieces from everything that's out there. He's not trying to mimic, he's not trying to mirror everything. He's going to take bits and pieces and mold it into his own story and shit like that. And I really encourage that. Because then what you're going to see on the screen, when you go to look at these films on the big screen, when you go look at the show on TV, okay, it's good to be expecting the unexpected. You know what I mean? Like, that's what draws you in. And then for them to talk about that Hollywood doesn't care about the comics, I don't think they don't care. Maybe there's certain individuals that don't, and a lot of them do. I don't know. But here's the thing. What they're talking about, where the general audience doesn't read or buy comics. But here's the thing. If you make a good film, that medium of movie, okay, will introduce someone to this character, okay? Boom. You just drew them in. By drawing them in and get them interested in that character, then they'll thus go and possibly want to explore the character a little bit more by checking out some comic books. And then that's where you cross everything up right there. It's like if your film does well, you have a high probability that somebody wants to go and explore a character. So they'll go and pick up a comic. Or they'll ask a friend that might know about comics and be like, hey, where do I start off on reading about this character? Like, should I go over here or should I go over there? And there are plenty of individuals that are deep into comic books where they can literally map out. Like, they'll say, hey, if you pick up issue this particular issue, and then you start from here and read on in chronological order or whatever, and like they'll tell you, or in the number order, numerical order here, like you go from this comic number 100 up to number 48, you know, all these, it's like a great storyline or what, something like that. And so there's plenty of people that are out there that can help a general audience explore a character. But it's all based on, if you ain't making a fucking good movie, they're not gonna fucking want to deal with the comic. Because you didn't make it compelling enough. You didn't draw them in. You didn't spark their interest about the goddamn character for them to want to go check it out. So that's why this person here, I don't think it's a mistake. It's not a mistake to do movies. It's not a mistake to do the TV show. I think it's just another medium. There you go. Like I was talking to someone about The Witcher. They're watching the show. They're loving the show. They're digging the show. And this person went and wanted to play the game. Like, they actually had a PlayStation. They went and bought a copy of the game they weren't aware of. Now they're digging the game. They're having fun with the game. That's your cross right there. Like, you know, certain individuals, like whoever wrote this, I'm sorry, I don't agree with you, but let's go ahead and keep reading on here. So the last part is, it is also looking more and more like we will learn the fate of DC Comics when the Discovery merger goes through. But to not even have office space to create comics, it's mind blowing and telling. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Does this have like a comments? Is there comments? Nobody has comments. No comments. Yes, there is comments. Okay. Well, let's check out a couple of comments. See what's on the mind of a couple of individuals here. So somebody put this little thing. It says, "Remember, kids, get woke, go broke." I've heard this. Uh, let's see here. We'll see what this person is. So this person here, Mr. Carrot Head. But that is a surprise. From the many articles written about the demise of the comic book industry, I am flabbergasted to learn that comics are still being sold. Very surprised indeed. They must be bootlegged copies. The authorities will soon put an end to that type of organized crime. That's funny. I mean, the thing is, comic books, yeah, they sell. I mean, like in this case, this individual is showing that these particular ones aren't being sold. They're not in the top 50. But there are so many comics. I mean, so you do have DC and Marvel, right? You got those two top dogs, right? But they're not the only fucking fish in the sea, you know? Technically, the way things are in the comic book industry, there's a fucking boatload of comics out there. And so, like, one company alone, yeah, you look at someone like DC, they got a boat ton of characters, right? And a fuck ton of damn stories. The same goes with Marvel. So you just imagine you have, like, Image Comics, Dark Horse, and stuff like that, and then you got all these other indies. Hell, there's comics coming from someone independent that has, what was that one with, I forgot her name now. Her and her husband made a comic book called Jupiter Jet. And that's cute artwork, and I haven't gotten a chance to check out the story to know what's up with the character. But they've been doing well. Like, they've had signings and stuff. People show up for so they're rocking. So, and they're an indie comic. They're doing it for themselves with that. And yet you're not hearing about this bullshit because you're only hearing about fucking DC and Marvel all the goddamn time. They always take the fucking light, Oh, look, Carrot Head did another one. It says, so he's quoting, as comics such as Gay Superman, Justice League, Wonder Woman, Flash, and Aquaman are nowhere in the top 50. Okay, so he says, not really surprised either. It looked, let's see, I looked and looked for Gay Superman, quote, and for the life of me, I could not find that title. I wonder if it came under a different title. Maybe I should look for the Rainbow Warrior. Yes, I will do that next time. So this person is being very sarcastic about, I think this person was literally going to look for a comic book cover that says Gay Superman. Obviously, they're not doing it. That's really stupid if they do that, because I think that's a disrespect to anyone in a gay community if you're just going to plaster Gay Superman, And then that's also, I think, a disrespect to the character that you're trying to create. Like, however you're going to tell this story. Let's see. It is also looking more and more like we will learn of the fate of the DC Comics Discovery merger through, but to not even have an office space. Okay, so he's quoting that part. And it says, gosh, that pandemic has a lot to answer for. So many businesses have closed over the past 2 years. What a terrible disaster. They must all have been gay businesses, too. What? Selling woke food, SJW merchandise, organic intentions. That would explain the millions of businesses going under. That's dreadful news indeed. Okay, this is kind of silly the way that guy said that. Let's be honest. That's the maxim in action again. Businesses should have paid heed. When you are gay, it's go woke or go broke. Thank the Lord that Amazon and Tesla and Apple are not gay businesses. They are heterosexual businesses for sure, run by straight white male dudes. Well, so this is interesting. So that's silly to say, to just flat out say that a company's not a gay business. Like, that's kind of silly. I mean, it's like they're implying that DC is essentially a gay business. They're not. I mean, it has nothing to do. Someone's sexuality has nothing to do with the fucking business. I mean, yes, there's piss poor decisions being made within the business in when it comes to something gay or lesbian or something like that, because they're not treating it with respect. That's the point. Is that you could do something gay, you could do something lesbian, you could do something trans, but first and foremost, you have to respect that. You have to have a legitimate respect, organic, down-to-earth respect for the gay, for a lesbian, and your characters and how you want to mold the story. I mean, you'll sell something. Just because it's gay doesn't mean it's not going to sell or whatever. It's just, in this case, it's like they're just plastering and forcing the gay in there, and they're forcing other things in there. It's like, you can't just force that. You know, that's not what, like how someone would say real representation. It's like, that's not real representation. There's people that walk around on a day-to-day basis, and you wouldn't know they're gay or you wouldn't know they're lesbian, etc. But they are, but you don't know until you meet them and you learn their story. You get to understand them, and you get to organically get the sense and the feeling of where these individuals come from and how they grew up and stuff. And that's how you would treat the material. You know what I'm saying? It's all about having that respect for these individuals. Because then at that point, like, if you're just throwing the gay shit out there just to throw it, that's a disrespect to the gay people. Because those peeps are be like, what the fuck are you? You're throwing garbage at me. You're just throwing gay out there just to throw gay out there. That's a disrespect. That's disrespect. Don't do that shit. I'm sorry, but that's disrespectful. What the hell is this? Oh, give me a second here. Let me disrespect to the gay people. So it does have that over there. Okay, never mind. I just saw something weird, and I was going to try to see if I can address it, but I don't know if I can. Anyways, so far this comment's kind of meh. I don't know about that guy. So this person here, but Carrot told me the gay comics were the bestest, highest selling comics ever made. How could this be? So this person's making fun of Carrot, I guess. So I'm assuming that at a certain point, Carrot told everybody that the gay comics were the best selling. Okay, maybe Carrot misspoke. I'm assuming. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, and billions watch Batwoman. We heard from it. What? And billions watch Batwoman. We heard from it. What a structure of a sentence. Let it believe what it wants to believe. Truth is irrelevant to the delusional. I don't know why it hurts to read that, because the way the person laid it out. Anyways, let's see. This person said, the left-wing simp has never picked up a comic in its miserable life. Damn. Not even the orderly at the funny farm will let it have one. Okay. Probably because it's been court ordered not to. Oh shit. What the fuck? See, this is where, like, I remember I was talking about in the other stream. It's like this whole, like, blanket terms and blankets that, like, the left wing. Like, you can't just say that the left wing hasn't picked up a comic. Who the fuck? So you know every singular person that's ever been involved and is currently involved with the left wing haven't picked up a comic for you to say that. I mean, that's a little overdoing it. Like, come on, that's overdoing it. Let's see here. It says, I'm betting they're going to contract the entire DC brand out to someone else to publish comics and graphic novels while retaining the IP. They probably do, because let me see. I think last I remember, the WB owns the rights to all the Harry Potter IP, if I'm not mistaken. But then they allow someone else to do stuff like, for example, Universal Studios having a Harry Potter world, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter in their parks. That's probably, like WB is getting, some of that. Well, whatever, however that works, they're getting theirs, but they happen to own it. Because the films, if I'm not mistaken, still say WB when the films come out and shit like that. So yeah. Yeah, this carrot head person, I don't know. And then the laughing man person, yeah. Like, I understand in a way where they're coming from, because that's like a form of anger towards some, not all. I'm sure it's just those few individuals that this person has met that are left wing that they're upset with. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. Like, I've talked to people that are supposedly left wing, and they're not like that. Like, they're just being fucking clumped up together with the other ones that they would call radical, or I don't know what the fuck. It's just ridiculous. Let me read the comics here, the comments on right here of the post. Let's see. The blue check marks on Twitter don't buy comic books. Go woke, go broke. Then they got the spit take little thing going on there. Ha 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 ha. Hashtag resell the Snyderverse. Resell the Snyderverse. Okay. They have only themselves to blame. Now, that, right. They only have, well, I would say not DC. It's WB. I put more blame on the the WB management of the DC products and IP have been, it's horrible. It's fucking horrible that DC has to be treated this way. Let's say it like that. To think about these characters that have been around for how long are getting treated in this form and fashion, where people are losing faith, they're losing respect in the brand and stuff like that, or whatever. This person here says, because DC sucks. Huh. Marvel over DC. That's just one of those hardcore lovers, which that's another thing. That's like someone like me, I don't care for shit like that, because it's like I'm not so much of a fan with a thing that I would downgrade anything else that has nothing to, you know what I mean? Like, I don't love Marvel that much to hate DC, nor do I like DC that much to like hate on Marvel or whatever. Like, I think neither of them suck in general, but I'm sure both of them have products that suck. It's not like fucking Marvel's perfect, you know what the fuck? Let's fucking be honest here. But yeah, anyways. Oh, look, it's Jessica Negri. What kind of character is that? Like a Princess Boo Peach thing? Cosplay and wig made by me. She does make a lot of her own shit. That's the main thing that it's amazing how much stuff she makes on her own. What the hell is this? Hold on, let me look at this. 4 types of ulceratic colitis according to gastrologist. Oh. So the type of UC symptoms a person experiences may depend on where inflammation is occurring in the colon. Oh. That's good to know. So I guess anybody that wants to Health I Nation, you can follow that, pull that up, see if you want to get any information about that. Oh, is that Amelia Clark? Yeah, Amelia Clark. I follow this page. I don't know if this is really Brock, to be honest with you. It is. It isn't. It says this is the official fan page of Brock Lesnar, both to Brock Lesnar. I don't know. When the hell did I started following this? I don't even know. I'm in love with Game of Thrones, it says. This is Amelia Clark. I will never forget my children. Oh, so she got legit little tattoos on her wrist there? That's pretty cool. That's cute. I got a buddy who loves Amelia Clark. All right, you out there, buddy? You know I'm talking about you. I'm not gonna say your name. I'll let you do that later if you want to come on the stream and hang out and talk shit. But yeah, he loves Amelia Clark. Okay, she's cool. That's wicked tattooing right there. Oh, what's this? Dave Grohl is a Billy fan, just like the rest of us. So this individual likes Billie Eilish. Okay, cool. She started a revolution. Cool. Ooh, something sensitive. Hold on a sec. Something sensitive. Let me look at it first, and then I can see if. Let's see how sensitive it is. Looks like a dude trying to cut a tree. Looks like he's all right. But then. Oh shit! It's a crane comes and. Oh, the crane came down and hit the guy in the head. That's what happened. So they set up a crane to hold a part of a tree. But as that part of the tree was going, it took the crane with it. That means that part of the tree was heavy. But then again, that's an inadequate use of the crane because of how extended it is. So yeah, the arm just literally came down straight upon the gentleman that's still remaining on the tree that's up there. And it just literally hit him on the head. And for the most part, it looks like it didn't really crush him, but he might have survived that. Keyword, might. All right, anyways, let's see. Ooh, that's interesting. A place called 0 Degrees. The best manganate, what? Manganata? Boba milk tea and spicy popcorn chicken in South Orlando, Florida. I guess if anybody would like to have a little bit of a taste of these items here that are on this photograph, they are located in 1700 West Sand Lake Road, Suite D123B, Orlando, Florida. So if you're nearby and you want to go try that out, there you go. It looks good. Looks pretty good. Let's see here. What's that? Highway Patrol with a thumbs up over there. Photo. Highway Patrolman gives a thumbs up to the Freedom Convoy truckers as they pass by. Oh. So do we... I heard about something possibly coming around here in the United States from that. See, that's how much... I'm sorry to say it like this. That's how much fucks I give. Like, people got to do what they got to do. And they're going to do it. If they feel like they need to do it, they're going to do it. Like, I'm one of those that Do I agree with it or disagree with it? I'm in the middle because I mean I see what's going on and I understand it. I do see some of the faults of like Canada's government, but hey, you got to do what you got to do. I mean, you got to fight for what you believe in, and if it's affecting you in a very negative way, you're gonna fight. You know, there's people that you can only have certain individuals get pushed so much. Like every single person has their limit. Like every person right now looking at this video will probably know that they have like an imaginary line that's there, but it's a line nonetheless that if it gets crossed by something, you're gonna be upset and you're gonna put your foot down and you're gonna be like, hey, hi, 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 hi. Now you look at here, Mr. Sir, Miss Ma'am, and stuff like that. Like, aye. Look at here. I tell you what. Look at here. Y'all need to. Wait. What? Sema da na. I forgot the name of the character. That used to be there was actually two individuals. I think one was Will Ferrell, and I forgot the young lady's name that was with him at the time during SNL. They used to do a skit where they're like, "Y'all need a sema da na." Love that shit. Breaking news: the magic is finally returning. Warner Brothers has released a new trailer for Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore. So that's one of the things I was just talking about. Like, yeah, WB owns all this Harry Potter stuff, everything that's part of the Wizarding World and shit. So here's that. So apparently they dropped a new trailer, huh? See, I was wondering if this film was gonna happen. I did see the first two. I enjoyed them. Like, I literally enjoyed the first two. I didn't think they were that bad. I enjoyed them. All right, let's take a look here. So yeah, Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore trailer assembles Newt Scamander's wizarding team. What a name, Newt Scamander. So it looks like at everyone in this photograph, I believe this young lady off the left is a character I haven't seen in the other two films, and the young lady in the back. Everyone else I've seen. Okay. So the magic is finally returning after 3.5 years. Wow, it's been that long? Shit, it is. Yeah, it has been that long. Warner Brothers has released a new trailer for Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore, the long-awaited third film in the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them series, and the latest in a long string of Harry Potter adjacent films and projects, I should say. Returning for the threequel. Is that a thing? That's a good. At least he put the question in there. Let's see. Are most of the familiar faces, including Eddie Redmayne as our boyish hero Newt Scamander, alongside Dan Folger as Jacob Kowalski, Alison Sudol as Queenie, and Ezra Miller as the Credence Barebone. Was that the name of the character? Credence? Huh. Okay. That's what I don't remember. As well as Jude Law taking a break from being a rom-com hero to return as Albus Dumbledore. So Dumbledore is still Jude Law. Okay. So how Dumbledore goes from Jude Law to looking like Michael Gambon is in the space of a few years is beyond us. But it's a welcome return nonetheless. Yeah, well, it depends, yeah. I guess it depends on is it really a few years between chronologically, I guess? Oh, what's this? Mads Mikkelsen replaces Johnny Depp as the villainous. How do you say it? Gellert Greenwald? So, Grinwald character. So, that's the one Johnny was. So, they used Mads to replace him? Damn, is that due to that shit I was hearing about with Johnny Depp and what's that girl's name? Damn it, I forgot her name. The one that with the red hair. She was doing the red hair character in Aquaman. Damn, I forgot her name. But I heard there was like a falling out between those two, and that I think she was making claims about Johnny, but then people were pissed because I was reading something where people were literally pointing out like, yo, she's the fuck up, not Johnny. Johnny's cool. But y'all kicking Johnny off of projects, but you ain't kicking her off of projects? Amber Heard, that's her name, Amber Heard. Which, if that's the case, then that is pretty wrong to drop Johnny if he's actually innocent, you know. And that's the thing, that gets me to certain shit. I might go on a rant with this. There are certain times people make claims left and right, and people act upon the claims right off the back. And it's like, no. That is a claim. That's the word it is, a claim. And then you got to go and find out if it's true or false. Once you learn if it's true or false, then you proceed to act upon it. And most of these motherfuckers are just so quick to act. Like, there was someone that was the last one I recall that I was thinking about, and I forgot who I was talking to, but there was a voice actor that someone made a claim that he sexually assaulted someone, I believe, is how it went. And they pulled him from everything. And it happened to be part of my video game, World of Warcraft, that I play. Like, he was the prominent character that he voiced in World of Warcraft was a prime elf character from the blood elf races of people. And it's like, I believe later on you found out that the individual was bullshitting, it wasn't true or whatever. And I read that and I'm like, wow, what a fucking damn shame. So you're going to have this company completely fucking take this guy out. And I mean, they took him out, if I'm not mistaken, they took him completely out. Like, they went into the older content where that character first popped up, that he was voicing it, way back from the first expansion of World of Warcraft called the Burning Crusade. And they took him out from there, and they just replaced him with a new voice actor on every single thing. Every single piece of content that had that character voiced by the other guy was replaced and changed. I kind of heard some of the dialect from the older content because I got to visit something at one point. It doesn't sound horrible. Don't get me wrong. It sounds fine to me. But the part that sucks is that here's a guy that someone just made a claim, and now his work just got ruined. His life got ruined. Hopefully not really. I'm hoping someone can easily be like, oh yeah, we'll give you work. Don't worry, man. You're cool. We see what happened and everything. Because that's bullshit. Like, somebody makes a claim. And here's the thing. There's so many people they jump the gun like that. So it's like, a lot of individuals need to start learning to put themselves in that person's shoes. Like, I'm right now looking at this camera. Let's say I go, hey, you're a fuck up. And you'd be like, I'm not a fuck up. And then, but I just made a claim that you're a fuck up. Right? You would be upset if now everyone around you that heard me or read me saying it, let's say on a post on like a Twitter or something like that, and now all these people think you're a fuck up. But you know you're not. And I know you're not. But I'm lying. Because I want to make everybody think you're a fuck up. And that's the thing. Like, you know you're not. But that would be me ruining you, your reputation, and your livelihood. And there's not a lot of people that think that way. They're just blatantly, oh yeah, that guy's fucked up. That's this and that. Hang him or whatever the fuck the case may be. It's like, no. Y'all just too quick for that shit. You wouldn't act that way if they were up in the art fucking case trying to make a claim on you. Especially one in the form of like sexual harassment and whatnot. Like that's not a joke. That's not a joke. That's one of those things where here I am fucking going on a tangent on that. For example, like when it comes to like claiming rape and whatnot, okay, you got those individuals like, oh, we need to listen to women. We need to listen to women. And some of the ones that said, hey, we need to listen to women, I think there was one that just recently someone made a claim on them too about sexual harassment. And now they're changing their tone. It's like, see, you can't just go out and say, oh, you just need to trust women and that's that. No, I mean, there are women that are telling you legitimately, hey, this happened to me, right? But then you got women that just would go out there and make a claim just out of spite, out of being upset that they didn't get a thing they wanted or something like that, and they just want to ruin a person. Those individuals taint all the real stories and all the real situations for all these real women that actually went through real sexual assault and whatnot. And it's like, it's such a disrespect to that. Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, in the court of law, the way I feel like everything needs to be, you need to go through everything. You need to find out what's up. You need to find out the truth and everything so you can handle the situation the right way. But it's like, you got those select few that ruin it for the real individuals that went through some shit, right? And now you're looking at a situation where it's like, that's what adds to, like, when certain people think, why this person's not saying anything, or why this person's not going to the cops or talking to a lawyer or whatever the case may be. And it's the fear of not being believed because of the outcomes of the ones that are out there abusing the situation. Because that's an abusement of saying, well, they listen to women, and if I just say I got sexually assaulted, they won't even bat an eye. And it's like, that's an abuse of the system, of the individuals that would be on your side until they find out you're bullshitting. Once they find out you're bullshitting, that's the other thing that kind of gets me a little upset. Is if you went and lied about being sexually assaulted by an individual, and you literally ruin that individual's life, they should throw the heaviest book at you. I'm sorry. Because that is disgusting. That is you may be a woman. You are a human being that just did a disgusting thing to another human being. You see what I mean? You just ruined that human's life. Even if they did go and prove it wrong, like, hey, yeah, that didn't happen, the stigma of the bullshit is still there. You're still going to have places that probably, they probably find a way to bullshit. He probably still did it or whatever. Because their minds are kind of made up from the beginning of the bullshit of the claims. So I really think they should throw the book at someone, because that is like how when someone how to go in a court of law, like when you have fraud or what's the other word? There's a word for it. Because you also sign something. I think there's stuff you sign that say, hey, if you give a false statement, this and that or whatever. So like, there's not enough happening to the individuals talking shit. Just to talk shit, like just to ruin someone. Like they didn't legitimately, especially when there was something one point in time where this one lady literally confessed later. Like, it was like way later. It might have been like a 15 year later, like a 10 to 15 year. And she's like, yeah, I lied. I didn't, that shit didn't happen. And it's like, really? And nothing happens to her. Really? Really? Do you know how many women I know that I've had this conversation with? How many women I know that are disgusted with a woman like that and that truly think that the book should be thrown at them? So it ain't just like a man versus women shit. There's plenty of women that disagree with that shit, that are disgusted with that shit. So that's where we go. That human being disgustingly did that to another human being. You know what I mean? And you ruin it for the ones who actually had something happen to them. Like, you muddy the waters for them. Where it's hard for the ones who actually went through something. You know, because my heart goes out to every single individual that's ever been raped and ever had any type of sexual assault in their life. That should never fucking happen. Especially nowadays. I mean, I look at it. It's fucking 2022, and we still got motherfucking people trying to fucking rape someone. Are you fucking serious? Someone's still trying to assault someone? We're fucking, those are fucking animals. Like, those individuals are animals. The ones that actually do that shit, they're fucking animals. Which, God forbid, because there's times where, God forbid, you call someone an animal. It's like, well, if they're fucking acting like it, and they're literally blatantly doing that fucking disgusting act, that's a fucking animal. That is no longer a human being. That's an animal. You know? And it's sad. It's sad that, I mean, it's 2022 now. What the fuck? Are you serious? There's still pieces of shit sexually assaulting people? And it's a little one-sided too, just to throw that one out there. There have been multitude of fucking things and stories, and someone that I know personally that was sexually assaulted. So we're talking about a woman sexually assaulting a man. A lot of people don't even bat an eye. It's like, why? Just because that's a dude? Like, sexual assault is sexual assault. I don't give a fuck who it is. That person now can't even fucking say anything because you're gonna have someone, don't. Well, what would be the average thing a fucking dude would say? Like, oh man, don't be a pussy and this and that. You know, it's like, it's not about being a pussy. It's about, that's literal assault in a sexual way. If that person didn't want that, if that person didn't want to experience that, and shit like that. Like, I remember somebody was trying to break it down where the only way a man can claim to be sexually raped by a woman is if the woman took, like, an inanimate object and inserted it into their rear end. And then apparently that's the only way that guy got sexually assaulted. It's like, what? Really? So you're going to give this minute little parameters of understanding that that dude got raped. It's just this little parameter right here. And a woman, it could be anything for the woman. Like, a woman just has to say, hey, I got raped, you know, and then that's it. Really? Are we that fucking disgusting to ourselves as human beings here? Like, come on now. Let's not. That's kind of ridiculous, all right? I know plenty, like I said, I know personal individuals who got sexually assaulted by a woman. But they were afraid to even mention anything because, first off, they think someone's not going to believe them. They're going to get scrutinized. They're going to be, you know, oh, you don't be a pussy. You're being a pussy. Oh, no, you. Unfortunately, the one F word gets thrown out there. You know, don't be a fat. And it's like, come on. It has nothing to do with that. A sexual assault, fucking sexual assault. God damn it. Have some goddamn respect for the fucking fact. When a human being gets sexually assaulted, don't fucking ruin that. We need to understand that we need to respect that person. We need to find out what happened and handle things accordingly. You know, find out who's talking truth, find out who's BSing and shit like that. Let's fucking have some respect for this shit. There's so much like shit like, fuck me. See, I'm going off again. Fuck. I mean, it's just one of those like, what is it with certain people, with their mentalities? Like certain things are one-sided, certain things are lopsided. Then you got your people that contradict themselves or contradict the situation. You got so much that you're like, come on, man. This is where we're at. It's fucking 2022. We all, as human beings, should be better than this. We should be a little more intelligent in trying to find the way to handle the situation as best as possible with the respect it deserves. Period. And that goes for almost anything, really, you know? Let me be right back real quick. I'm going to get something.
Just let you go. Turn around again. Find yourself. It's not half as bad as you thought it was. It's not an epic that you live. We can dress it up in red if that's how you want it. But you better get out tonight. We'll still hold you back from the edge. Don't watch this fool. Don't waste your money on another broken renegade. Do it now, act faster and lie to yourself. Never heavy with the consequence you're running from. Never think about the way it was. We can dress it up in red if that's how you want it. But you'd rather get out tonight. We'll still hold you back from the edge. I will wait with you till the end if that's how you want it. I'll be your audience and I will still hold you back from the edge. We can dress it up in red.
That's not bad. That is a really cool song. I'm not gonna lie. That is a really cool song. Alright, so where was I fucking complaining and bitching at? Alright, let me share this again real quick. So where were we? So Mad Mikkelsen replaces Johnny Depp as a villainous Grindelwald. And a number of character posters also reveal new additions to the cast on both sides of the magical war for the Wizarding World, including comedian Jessica Williams as Lally Hicks, as well as Calum Turner as Theus's Scamander. Oh, so there's another Scamander. So that's a sibling, is what I'm assuming. Anyway, so there's other people. So this is Mads right here. So I guess that's what it looks like. That's Mads doing that character. So that's some shit. The new trailer promises what is possibly the biggest battle the Wizarding world has ever seen, beyond even Harry Potter's battle with Voldemort that made J.K. Rowling's franchise so immensely popular. Newt's ragtag team now includes some siblings in the form of the ever exhausted, how do you say it? So Theseus Commander and Albert Firth Dumbledore. Albert Fourth. Aberforth. I suck with that kind of shit when it comes to certain names, right? Anyways, is tasked with taking down the most powerful wizard in history, leading to the battle that will change the wizarding world forever and pave way for the little boy with a lightning scar to make history. So they're saying that this Grinwald character is the most powerful wizard in history. So next to Voldemort, he's the shit. Like Voldemort really ain't shit next to this guy. Is that the case? That's interesting. Okay, let's go on here. But this won't be the end of the Fantastic Beasts crew. At least 2 more films are planned for the Magical Period franchise, though titles and plots are being predictably kept under a tight lock and key. The Secrets of Dumbledore sets up a global wizarding war running parallel with World War II. Oh, interesting. Meaning that Newt and his team still have quite the road ahead of them, particularly given Grinwald's growing number of sinister followers. Fantastic Beasts and the Secrets of Dumbledore, also starring Maria Fernanda Condido and all these other individuals, hits theaters everywhere April 15th. Check out the all-new trailer below. Okay. I mean, I can't wait to see it. Like, I want to see it. I can't wait to see like how it comes up. And this article that I read is from Collider.com. So if you guys want to take a look at that, read it again, and keep up to date with some of the info. I mean, Colliders, they do a good job of keeping up on stuff. So yeah, Collider.com. Give them a check. Give them a follow, whatever you want to do. I'm going to give this a thumbs up. What is this? Wait a minute. Wee! Oh shit. Wee! Oh shit. Wee! 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 Freaking animals are crazy, man. Alright, here's another one from Collider.com. Who is #Black Adam? And what is his history with DC's original superhero team? It's pretty complicated. It is, actually, unfortunately. But then again, it's like I'm wondering how they're treating this character, because I only know so much of this character. And what I know is, for the most part, he is like an anti-hero. But there have been other moments where they put him as a straight villain. Like, he was villainous, like ruthless kind of guy. But then there was ones where, oh yeah, he's a ruthless kind of guy, but it was all in the name of protecting his people, his family, loved ones, and whatnot. So that's what made it like the anti-hero thing going on. So let's see, Black Adam. Who is Black Adam in the Justice Society of America? So let me look at this real quick. Let's see how they lay this out. All right. So they say it's complicated. This picture looks pretty cool. So that's Hawkman back there on the left, and Atom Smasher, I believe, is with that one on the right. That's what I'm assuming. See, I don't know much about Atom Smasher. I know a decent amount of Hawkman. It was like Hawkman and Hawkwoman. They died back in the day in a way where they just get reborn and then have to find each other again or something like that. Like, I don't know. Let's see. The recent DC Films trailer featured some exciting new footage from Dwayne Johnson's upcoming Black Adam film, and we are beyond excited to see what the movie brings. The Rock spent over a decade campaigning to play Black Adam on the big screen, and after all those years, it's finally happening. Yeah, he did fight. I mean, I'm not. That's the one thing I always got to give The Rock credit. I know there's a few things I kind of disagree with him as of late that I've found out. Let's say, because I wasn't aware of like everything that he likes or dislikes or whatever his comments are or his feelings on certain things. But it's like, credit where credit's due. The man's a hard-working individual, period. And then for him to want to play Black Adam this wholeheartedly, like he wanted to get in there, like I commend that. Like I really think if there's a character someone really truly wants to play, and they really really truly think they are destined to play the character, they should push. They should push to play it. Like I equate this with how Ryan Reynolds with Deadpool, and we all saw how that came out. So I'm very hopeful that this is the same as that. Like Dwayne just fits into that role just so great. Hopefully. Let's see. The Rock spent decades campaigning. After all, it's finally happening. Okay, so but who is Black Adam? And who are the members of the Justice Society of America, GSA, who appeared alongside him? Let's see. It's no secret that this is Black Adam's first appearance in live action media, bearing a brief reference in Shazam. But the JSA has shown up a few times throughout the years. But be it on Smallville. So apparently Smallville had them pop up that show. Legends of Tomorrow. That one, I think I saw some of that stuff. And then the current Supergirl, or Stargirl series. Not Supergirl, I'm sorry. Stargirl. So, yeah, Stargirl, if I'm not mistaken, that was the spin-off from Legends of Tomorrow. Her character popped up over there first, and then I guess someone said, "Hey, I want to do a Stargirl series," which, if I'm not mistaken, the season 2 is popping up. Yeah, and then we got, but regardless of their live action appearances or lack thereof, Black Adam, Doctor Fate, Hawkman, Cyclone, and Atom Smasher will have all have a vast comic book histories that will no doubt contribute to their upcoming roles in Black Adam. See, Doctor Fate, that's a wicked character. It's that one there, in a way, it's a very complex character too. So I don't know much about Atom Smasher though, unfortunately. Cyclone, not aware of that character either. So I can't really say much to that. Just I hope they do a good job to make me care, of course. See, Black Adam, a tortured anti-hero. So tortured. Okay. So Black Adam first appeared as Teth Adam, an ancient Egyptian man who was chosen by the wizard Shazam to become the mighty Adam. Eventually, Adam believed that he was the rightful heir of Egypt and killed the pharaoh, only to be cursed by the wizard for his betrayal. This eventually resulted in conflict between Black Adam and Billy Batson, known as Captain Marvel, until the past decade. After the mythic Crisis on Infinite Earths, Black Adam's origin were rewritten to exclude Egypt entirely, trading it for the fictional North African nation of Kondak. See, I think that reminds me. I believe between like Marvel and DC, Marvel, most of their locations are not fake. you know, like there's New York and shit. But so the one exception that I know for sure, obviously, is Wakanda. There is no Wakanda. In this case, like it was like a legitimate place, Egypt, but now they're going with a fictional place called Kondak. So there are certain times I'm wondering if it's like, is it something entirely like someone from Egypt was like, hey yo, I don't want you. Like someone from their government was like, yo, can you not have this individual involved with Egypt like that? Can you kind of like back the fuck up? And maybe that's why they went that route. Like because I wasn't 100% sure of this. This is actually new to me. I only knew about the nation called Kondak. So for me to now know that at one point it was originally Egypt, then that gives me the idea that I'm thinking someone from the Egyptian government was like, yo, I don't want your fictional character to have anything to do with Egypt. I'm sorry. And out of respect, I mean, yeah, there you go. I mean, I'm one of those people that I think it should be in their interest that if you're going to make a story about a place, that you should ask that place for the most part, hey, would y'all be cool if I had this character from y'all's place and this and that? And if they say yeah, then, you know, there you go. I don't know. So now we got, let's see, let's carry on here. This update also included the death of his children at the hands of a supervillain, resulting in him taking over Kondak. After being stripped of his powers by the wizard, Black Adam was eventually revived by his reincarnated ancestor, Theo Adam, the man who killed Billy Batson's parents. What? Okay. So there are two Adam individuals. One's a Teth and one's a Theo. But the Theo person is who killed Billy Batson's parents in this, or in the source material that they're looking at. That's pretty interesting. Okay. So, as it turns out, Theo Adam and Black Adam couldn't coexist together, and eventually Black Adam strayed away from Theo's evil influence over his life. Not long after, Black Adam worked with the Justice Society of America against the Injustice Society, Johnny Sorrow, the Sin Eater, and others before being inducted into the team's rank during Jeff Johns and David S. Gory's epic GSA run. So it looks like they're doing a split here. Like there's technically two individuals. There's Theo as a black dude, and then there's Black Adam. So Theo's a bad dude. So that's their way of like making the Black Adam character more of a good dude. So I see where they're going here. All right. Even after he joined the GSA, Captain Marvel didn't believe Adam had changed, which that's the original title for that character. Was Shazam or Captain Marvel, and then they went with Shazam. So, but because of some, I believe what it was is that they weren't using the Captain Marvel name for a good while, and then later Marvel made their Captain Marvel, and then that's when they ultimately took control of that IP name through legal ways where, hey, y'all weren't using it, y'all didn't have a claim to it, and that's why we got it. And then now, because of that, DC wasn't able to use Captain Marvel as the name for the character. So they just went with calling the character Shazam, which is silly in a way, but I understand. You know, it's like, because Shazam, the wizard, is Shazam. That's his name. And now they're calling that guy Shazam, but then he's like, but I can't say my name because of bzz, there goes a lightning bolt and I turn into a kid, or the lightning, or if I'm a kid and then a lightning bolt. Okay. So you got Captain Marvel didn't believe that Adam had changed, and eventually he was proven right because Black Adam quickly became more unhinged and took over contact once again, killing any supervillain who caused anyone harm. So it's like he doesn't agree with the way Black Adam went about it, but that's how much he cares about conduct and protecting it, to the extent that he will kill a supervillain who caused anyone harm. And that's anti-hero shit, that because it's like, you're not there to like capture them and try to rehabilitate them or something like that. No, you're just flat out killing that son of a bitch. Which some people, there's a lot of people out there that they're on that kind of bandwagon. They're like, dude, these people, all they're gonna do is be released and do something again and hurt someone somewhere again, and it's like the people letting them go are just as bad because they let them go. Like the blood is still on their hands too. That's like some of the faults of like what they were saying with Batman and Joker. Like Batman's trying to help Joker, trying to rehabilitate him and all that, but it's like technically all those police officers, Gordon and Batman, have blood on their hands every time the Joker has taken someone's life, because someone thinks that Joker should have just been dealt with, and that's it. And that's like, that's the hard part. Like, does someone truly want to kill someone? Like Batman doesn't want to kill like that, but I don't know. It's something that certain individuals have fights within themselves on something like that. So let's see. Let's continue here. So in his time as a ruler of Kondak, he married the Egyptian goddess Isis, and the two ruled over the nation together, along with Isis's brother Osiris, I should say, Osiris. They became the Black Marvel family. Okay. Sadly, his new family doesn't last long. And after Isis and Osiris's deaths at the hands of the Intergang, Intergang, that sounds familiar. I don't know. Intergang. Black Adam declares World War III. Oh boy. After World War III, Black Adam lost his powers and spent the rest of his time in the post-crisis community, struggling to regain his powers. Once he regains them and eventually resurrects his wife. Oh, he resurrects his wife. Oh. Adam and Isis are petrified to stone by the wizard Shazam for their misuse of the power. Black Adam doesn't appear again until the New 52 continued reboot, which, once again, changes his origin. So, yeah. It's just a new interpretation. Like, New 52 is just a new interpretation. It's not necessarily that you're changing it just to change it. I mean, you're changing it because it's a different layouts, different paths that everybody takes in the different universe. I mean, that's how that works. Anyways, most recently, after a few battles with Billy Batson's Shazam, the man formerly known as Captain Marvel, Black Adam joined the Justice League as a somewhat reformed anti-hero. Time will tell if these heroic changes will stick, or if he'll end up going back to his violent ways. I thought he did. I thought he kind of did go back. I don't know. Let's see. So now we're looking at Hawkman. A hero throughout time. So Hawkman's. So Albus Hodge, is that the actor's name? I believe if I'm not mistaken, let me see something real quick. If I'm not mistaken, this gentleman here was in Agents of Shield. That's where I recognize him from. I believe he was in the Agents of Shield at one point. That's where I last seen him. Okay, cool. Let's see. So Hawkman's history is a lot more convoluted than Black Adam's, and has been rooted and retold more times than he could count. However, a few aspects of Hawkman's story have always remained true across time. Born thousands of years ago as an Egyptian prince Khufu. Oh, so they're putting him as Khufu? Okay. Hawkman teamed up with Teth Adam and the mystic Nabu to find a crashed Thanagarian spaceship that contained nth metal, the source of Hawkman's powers. Years later, Prince Khufu and his bride Kiara were brutally murdered by the villainous priest Hothset and cursed to be reborn again and again. Over the centuries, Khufu would be reincarnated as the 5th century Silent Knight, Captain John Smith of Virginia. An Old West gunfighter, a Pinkerton detective. Pinkerton, what's that? And eventually as Carter Hall, aka Hawkman. So that's the name I definitely am aware of, is Carter Hall. Alright, so the most famous of all Khufu's incarnations, right? That's the most famous one. In recent books, it's been revealed that Khufu has also lived lives on other planets, including as the Thanagarian cop, Qatar Hall, and the Kryptonian historian Carter Ol. Really? So how... That'd be interesting. So I'm wondering what paths they took to have his character essentially embody these other individuals from other planets. So in the 1940s, Carter Hall and his bride, Shira, sometimes spelled Shira, oh, okay, I see what you're saying, became Hawkman and Hawkgirl, later Hawkwoman. Crime fighters who would help found the Justice Society of America and would eventually become prominent members of the Justice League of America as well. Over the years, Carter generally served as the chairman of the GSA, though he would occasionally step aside to give others a chance to lead. As time went on, the Hawks would serve during the original Crisis of Infinite Earths, which changed the universe forever. Afterward, their origins would change a few times, though the basics always remained the same. And eventually, they die in battle during Blackest Night, only to be resurrected again almost immediately. Hawkman might have the most confusing character histories in all of comics, but that's mostly because there are too many incarnations to talk about. Way more than we have time for here. So, in this case, this particular iteration, because it's so far back, it wouldn't be Carter Hall. It will probably be the first one, right? They'll probably have him as Prince Khufu in this movie. But then again, I'm looking at this photograph right here, and I see bicycles in the back. What the fuck? So, I don't know. They might go with the Carter Hall. Alright, let's see. Most recently, Carter incarnation. incarnation of Hot Girls are revealed to actually come from Qatar and Shra, two alien beings who were locked in an eternal resurrection with one another. After defeating the Deathbringers, the alien group to which Hawkman originally belonged, okay, and their leader, the Lord Beyond the Void, Carter and Shira are given the chance to live their favorite life once again, but this time as mortals with long extended life. Choosing to return to their time with the original GSA, the Hawks live a long life, well into the 40th century by the end of the recent Hawkman series. So, I guess they picked the one they liked the most and said, hey, I want to do that again. But this time they can live longer. Okay, so now here's... Oh my god. Hey, I'm actually getting tired. Maybe I can actually sleep in a little bit. I don't know. Dr. Fate, the Master of Magic. See, this photograph right here is interesting because this helmet looks like it doesn't have the eye holes. Huh. Why doesn't it have the eye openings? Maybe it's such an early shot of the character. While there have been many variations of Dr. Fate over the years, the original and most famous, Kent Nielsen, is the version soon to appear in the Black Adam, played by Pierce Brosnan. Oh yeah, that's right. It's Pierce Brosnan doing the character. In his origin story, a young Neil, accompanied his archaeologist father, on a Mesopotamian expedition. Oh shit, there's something in my eye. While investigating the tomb of Nabu. Nielsen accidentally awakens the magical deity, resulting in the death of his father. But Nabu takes pity on Nielsen and spends the next few decades training him to become Dr. Fate, giving him his magical helmet, amulet, and a cloak to fight supernatural crime back in the United States. See, now what I remember is like that Nabu dude, that deity is actually kind of an asshole, and he didn't feel pity or whatever. Like he's being a dick. He wants like to have control and shit like that. To be like that person will be like a vessel, last I remember. So anyway, it's upon returning to his homeland, but not before meeting his wife, Inza, that Nelson helps to found the Justice Society. As Nelson fights crime as Dr. Fate, he struggles with his superhero alter ego, especially since Nabu tends to take over his body through his magical helmet. So he tries to take over. After the crisis on Infinite Earths, which I don't know if anybody... Did I say that? So, Crisis on Infinite Earths was a storyline that happened in comics. So, if anybody wants to, like, touch into that, that's where they're getting some of this info. Because that is true that after Crisis on Infinite Earths, a lot of shit changed. There was a lot of shit that changed at that point in time. So, Nelson co-founded what would later become the Justice League International. But even while working with the League... Oh my god, excuse me. He still remained faithfully committed to the GSA. During this time, Nabu would constantly manipulate Nelson's life, culminating in Nelson and his wife, Inza, merging to become a new Dr. Fate. Oh, really? There was a merge. That's interesting. This time, with them in control instead of Nabu. Oh, so like... them two combining themselves would have probably more ability to resist Nabu and have control. Okay. This would be a challenge during the 0 hour event after the villain extent stripped the Justice Society of their magical protections, including the helmet of fate itself. As the Nelsons struggle to restore their magic powers, their life force is drained by demons, resulting in their deaths. Though in true Dr. Fate fashion, they remained alive as spirits, occasionally helping the GSA when need to be. Huh. That's interesting. Okay. Of course, new Dr. Fates will rise and fall over the years, including the original Hawkman's son, Hector Hall, and two of Nelson's grandnephews, but none as important as the original. Okay. So, in recent DC Rebirth the soft reboot, Kent Nelson has returned as to the mantle of Dr. Fate, though he isn't alone. Beside him is one of his grandnephews, Khalid Nasor, with whom he shares the mantle of Dr. Fate, each with their own stylish helmet. Oh, well, they both have a helmet. Really? Oh, that's pretty cool. While Nelson might be able to battle with his inner Naboo, his return to the helmet comes just in time for his coming appearance on the big screen. Okay. Man, why do I feel hot? I don't know why I feel hot. Man, hold up. I feel hot. This is bullshit. Alright, let's see. Where were we? Let me lower this down again. Oops, sorry. Did I go too much? Oops, shit. Anyways. Alright, off to the next section of a character I definitely don't know much about. So, Adam Smasher. So, this is Black Adam's closest friend. Interesting. Okay. The godson of the original JSA member Al Pratt, aka the Atom, Albert Rothstein, Noah Centennial, gained his meta-human abilities of super strength and growth from his grandfather, the GSA's enemy, Cyclonatron. What? So who the hell is Cyclonatron? Deciding to follow in his grandfather's footsteps, rather than his own kin, Albert became Nuclean? Became Nuclean. So Nuclean. A member of the original Infinity Inc., a superhero group made up of children, heirs, and apprentices of the original GSA. So Nuclean supported he sported the red and black outfit, okay, with a pretty bad mohawk that he kept well into his tenure in the Justice League Reserves. So he had a mohawk, so in this he don't. It's a good thing. Let's see. So, eventually, various members of the Infinity Inc. would be rolled into the Reformed Justice Society of America, which sought to take the younger generation under their wing. Albert now going by Atom Smasher, was a prime candidate for the reformed GSA and was ecstatic at the opportunity to live up to the Adams legacy. Although Atom Smasher consistently strove to impress his superhero idols, he almost gave it all up by killing the terrorist Cobra after the supervillain killed his mother. Thankfully, he was talked down, but later Albert would go back in time to replace his mother with the supervillain Extant, who then died in her place. Oh, I see what he did there. Interesting. That's almost like a fucking shit. What's his name? The Flash would do in a way. While he finally saved his mother, it was at a terrible cost. Of course, you're fucking with the timeline. Yeah. Once Black Adam joined the team, Albert was initially reluctant to trust the former supervillain. But after some heart to heart involving Atom Smasher's own moral dilemmas, they came to develop a bond of brotherhood. This bond remained strong to the point that Albert would leave the GSA with Black Adam, murder the Kondak president, and constantly save Adam from death and prosecution. Oh, okay. Eventually, Albert's consciousness got the best of him, and he confessed to his crimes, choosing to fight against Adam alongside the GSA. After some time, Albert reclaimed his role as Al Pratt's legacy in the GSA and convinces the heroes to let him rejoin the team. Albert was last seen as Atom Smasher at the end of the Doomsday Clock, after the GSA had been restored to the DC timeline. So that's another storyline that came about not that long ago that was called Doomsday Clock. I forgot how many issues. Yeah, I don't remember how many issues it was, but I don't think it was that super long, the Doomsday Clock. So if anybody's interested in picking that up, I would suggest it. It was pretty interesting. So Cyclone, a GSA All-Star in the making. Wow, this picture, they could have got a better quality. What the fuck? The granddaughter of Hunkel? I guess that's how you would say it. The original Red Tornado. Oh, really? Maxine Hunkel, aka Cyclone. So her name is Quintessa Swindle. Quintessa Swindle. Why does that name sound familiar? But looking at this photograph, she doesn't look familiar. Inherited her grandmother's whirlwind abilities and joined the GSA in the mid 2000s. With the powers of flight, wind manipulation, and the ability to control sound waves all at her disposal, Cyclone joined the GSA after the death. The team decided to expand their ranks to mentor the next generation of superheroes. A constant fangirl with an extreme motor mouth, Cyclone's excitement, I should say, both at joining the GSA and meeting her personal superhero Stargirl, was no doubt a bit off-putting at first, but once she learned to control her emotions, she proven herself to be an invaluable asset to the team. It's pretty cool. Cyclone had. So Cyclone had. That's where they had the word twice. Yeah. So, Cyclone had the privilege of fighting alongside the Justice League during the Lightning Saga. See, I'm not aware about the Lightning Saga. Battled against Darkseid's forces during the first of the Final Crisis, and became a founding member of the GSA All-Star teams after the JSA split into two. After being wiped from the mainstream community by Watchmen character Dr. Manhattan, Cyclone and her fellow GSA members rejoined the DC Universe in Jeff Johns and Gary Frank's Doomsday Clock. Huh. That was pretty cool. Huh. I could have sworn. Nah, never mind. Anyways, there was also a version of Cyclone known as Red Tornado 2 who showed up in the Alex Ross epic Kingdom Come to fight alongside older Superman, but that was before she was part of the main DCU and isn't really canon. Right, that isn't canon. Alright, so that's those characters. Didn't even know about them. Look, there's some comments. Let me see these comments real quick, just out of curiosity. Never heard of Black Adam. I'm actually tired of he eating how The Rock is a great hero. Action hero. Okay. DC is all over the place. Yeah, well, they are. I'm actually more hyped for this movie than the Batman. Okay. The Rock doing cosplay. Get his name right. Oh, let me see here. It says, the magic lightning has changed me. Yes, henceforth, you are mighty Adam. Go and fight your in the... What? Wait a minute. So, he's actually mighty Adam? See, I wasn't aware of that. Okay, I wasn't aware of that. That's pretty cool. Alright, I feel actually tired now. See, maybe I can actually sleep an hour or so. I don't know. We'll see how long I can sleep. Anyways, like usual, I appreciate y'all hanging out with me and watching this shit. For those who watch it later and whatnot. Later.